A woman bursts out of the private room, tears streaming down her face, only to trigger laughter from the small-time gangsters around her. Moments later, a tattooed man swaggered out, clutching a bottle of alcohol like he owned the place. But then, out of the shadows, a hitman slowly approached the room. He raised his gun and took out the guard at the door with a single shot. The deafening gunfire sent everyone scrambling for weapons. The tattooed man, wary of making a rash move, sent his hunting dog to scout the alley. What came next was horrifying. A blood-curdling scream echoed from the dark alley. Only the dog staggered back, barely alive. The tattooed man rushed over and checked the dog's neck, and there it was, a timed explosive. The blast ripped through the alley. The hitman calmly entered the private room, his eyes on the battered tattooed man. Without a word, he raised his gun one last time and then walked away, leaving chaos in his wake. By the time the police arrived, the place was a smoldering ruin. Looking at the tattoos on the bodies, it was clear the victims were all members of the Japanese mafia. Naturally, this should have fallen under the Asian crime division. Jason and his team arrived on the scene, but after a cursory inspection, there were no leads to follow. Jason then turned his attention to the sole survivor. The man donned rubber gloves and, in broken bird-like chirps, claimed he was a doctor. He even tried to dig a bullet out of the wound with his fingers, only to hit bone. It became painfully clear he knew nothing about medicine. He had been torturing the man in a desperate bid for information. The survivor fainted from the pain. Just as Jason was about to leave, something caught his eye, a titanium shell casing on the floor. Recognition hit him like a thunderbolt. This was the killer he had been hunting for years. Years ago, he and his partner Tom had received intelligence that the Japanese mafia had hired a hitman named Rogue to target the Hong Kong triads. When they arrived at the scene back then, it had already been consumed by fire, and now, years later, Jason finally had a glimpse of the man behind the legend.